Iran wanted Oman chosen as the venue for US nuclear talks specifically to keep the negotiations tightly focused on the nuclear issue, according to Reuters. Tehran changed the planned location of the talks from Istanbul to Oman so it could continue earlier diplomatic discussions in a more controlled and predictable environment. Senior Iranian officials said they view Oman as a familiar and discreet diplomatic setting where Tehran feels it can better manage the tone and outcome of negotiations. Tehran has insisted that any talks with Washington must remain strictly limited to the nuclear issue and cannot be expanded to cover other security or regional matters. The US agreed to Iran's request to change the venue for the February 6 nuclear negotiations, signaling a willingness to accommodate Tehran's diplomatic preferences. The talks are now expected to take place in Oman instead of Turkey, as reported by the Financial Times on February 4, reshaping the backdrop of these high-stakes discussions. Last week, Iran's foreign minister stated that Tehran's missile program will never be placed on the negotiating table, underlining a firm red line. Iran has reportedly opposed the involvement of additional regional powers in the negotiations, fearing their participation would complicate and slow the process. Tehran reportedly fears that, aside from Turkey, the inclusion of other regional actors could dilute its negotiating position and weaken its leverage over Washington. This comes as an F-35 fighter jet launched from the USS Abraham Lincoln shot down an Iranian drone operating near US naval assets in the region. The Shahed-type drone reportedly transmitted surveillance and reconnaissance data back to Iranian control centers before it was destroyed in mid-air. Surveillance and reconnaissance data collected by the drone was allegedly sent back to Iranian command nodes, giving Tehran valuable intelligence on US movements. On February 3, a US-flagged oil tanker was also allegedly harassed by Iranian gunboats while transiting a key maritime corridor. Iranian forces reportedly threatened the tanker to turn off its engines and prepare to be seized, according to the Wall Street Journal's reporting. Amid escalating US-Iran tensions, Tehran issued a fresh warning explicitly linking Israel to any potential US attack on Iranian territory. Iran said that any US strike on its soil would trigger a direct military response against Israel, turning a bilateral conflict into a broader regional confrontation. In an interview with Al-Mayadeen, Supreme Leader Khamenei's advisor Ali Shamkhani delivered this stark warning to the Israeli public and leadership. Appearing in full military uniform, Shamkhani signaled that the outfit was deliberately chosen to send a clear message of readiness and resolve, according to WANA. As tensions peak, IDF Chief of Staff al-Zami held secret strategic talks on Iran in the United States to coordinate Israel's defense posture with Washington. Israel fears the US will negotiate only on the nuclear issue, leaving Iran's powerful missile capabilities untouched and still pointed at Israeli cities. Tel Aviv believes Tehran may offer cosmetic nuclear compromises as a bargaining chip but will refuse to concede any meaningful limits on its missile program. Israel's greatest concern is that Trump may ultimately focus only on the nuclear issue and treat missiles as a secondary matter. This approach would effectively legitimize Iran's missile program, leaving advanced systems fully operational and ready to be used against Israel. The US military buildup across the Gulf indicates that Trump is buying time for diplomacy while maintaining credible military pressure on Tehran.